Welcome to the National Institute for Health and Care Research mentoring programme. I'm Julie Haddock-Millar. I'm one of the core team that supports in delivering the CPD sessions for both mentees and mentors. This session is focused on transitioning from mentee to mentor. The agenda for this recording is that I'm going to take you through the mentor core competencies, roles and responsibilities with a view to thinking about transitioning from mentee to mentor. I'm going to suggest some reflective questions that you may want to take away and consider following the sessions. And I'll also signpost an additional topic guide and some resources that you may want to read following listening to this recording. So transitioning from mentee to mentor. As the mentee and the mentor come to the end of the formal mentoring period, the mentee may consider transitioning to the role of the mentor. And this can be a result of a variety of changes that occur. But transitioning from the role of mentee to mentor does require a heightened understanding of the repertoire of enabling strategies and skills within a mentoring relationship, which mentors draw from to assist their mentees. There are a number of mentoring core competencies. There's a set of core competencies that's been developed by a number of different professional bodies. And here I refer specifically to the European Mentoring Coaching Council, which has a global remit. And the EMCC has developed an evidence-based competence framework for mentoring and coaching to identify the knowledge and the skills required as a mentor develops into the role. There's also a number of different research studies in various sectors such as medicine, academia, early career teachers that also have identified a set of competencies for mentors. And I'm going to take you through some of those competencies with a view to raising your knowledge and understanding of what's required of the role of the mentor. So the mentoring core competencies that we can often see in various studies in a variety of sectors include interest in developing others, the commitment to developing self, contextual awareness, self-awareness, communication competence, relationship management, and behavioural awareness. On this slide, I've given you some more detail in relation to each of those competencies. So you can see, for example, that an interest in developing others, for those that transition into the role of the mentor, they are committed to developing and supporting others, nurturing and growth, helping them to achieve their ambitions, their career desires. That commitment to ongoing self-development as mentors, we're always developing, no matter what level we accredit at. And so there's that commitment to our ongoing self-development in CPD. Often mentors will have contextual knowledge and understanding, appreciating the mentee's professional context. A heightened degree of self-awareness, recognising our own behaviours and emotions and how they might influence the mentoring relationship. That communication competence, our core skills of listening, questioning, reflecting and summarising. The ability to manage the mentoring relationship effectively, role clarity, expectations, the boundaries within the relationship, ethics, for example, and behavioural awareness. So recognising behavioural patterns through observation, through our reflective skills. Now, the EMCC Global Core Competence Framework consists of 8 core competencies related to both the mentoring relationship and the development of self as a mentor. In the NAHR training, we have a dedicated session which reviews the EMCC Global Core Competence Framework, and we work through each of these in that dedicated session where you can find more detail. We also have a dedicated session to the roles of the mentor within our NAHR CPD offer. Here on this slide, we can see typically the 8 roles that are associated with mentoring and the role of the mentor. So we can see professional friend, sounding board, reflector, challenger, confidant, performance coach, role model, and guide. Now, as a mentor, we will have an enhanced self-awareness around the roles that we typically prefer to occupy, the roles that are most helpful and useful for our mentees, depending on their stage of development. If you do want to understand and learn more, I would recommend that you watch or attend the session that is dedicated to the roles of the mentor. Briefly, I'm also going to touch on the role of the mentee. Now, there isn't a separate competency framework for mentees, but what we can see in literature and various impact evaluation studies is typically what is it that makes a mentee effective within a mentoring relationship. And as a mentor, it's very helpful to explore the roles from both the perspective of the mentor and the mentee. And so here I've highlighted a few key points. So the mentee taking ownership of the learning, that the mentee takes responsibility for their own development. And as a mentor, we support that. Openness, willingness to engage and to learn. Organisation of meetings and the process of mentoring, who takes responsibility? Is that a mutual responsibility? Is that the mentee's responsibility? Enthusiasm and commitment, the drive for learning, the commitment to actions and next steps, for example. Respect, so respecting one another and what you bring to the relationship and the value, and the mentees recognising the mentor's experience and the commitment and contribution that is being made. And the commitment to self-awareness. So just like a mentor having a heightened sense of self-awareness within the context of a mentoring relationship, we really encourage the mentee to focus on their own self-understanding, their emotions and their responses. So as I say, slightly different to the mentor, where we can see those 8 different roles. In the literature for mentees, we tend to see more around responsibilities in the context of role, but very useful to be aware of that, I think, when transitioning from mentee to mentor. So a few reflective questions. So the first is just thinking about the slides that we've covered in this recording, reflecting on the core competencies outlined. What do you see as your strength when transitioning from mentee to mentor? As a future mentor, what are your developmental areas? How might you engage in your own CPD to support your mentoring practice? And therefore, what are your next steps from here if you are then transitioning from mentee to mentor? And some key resources: we have an online topic guide that accompanies all of our CPD sessions, and in that topic guide there are links to further reading. There's a really super journal article by Professor David Questerback that was written many years ago now, but still very relevant today, which is about establishing and maintaining mentoring relationships, and provides a very useful overview of mentor and mentee competencies. I've also provided a link to the EMCC Global Coach and Mentor Competency Framework. So if you do want to read more around competencies, you're welcome to look at that, and that's provided for you. If you do have any questions at all, you're welcome to email the programme support team, and as always, the email is here on the slide. Thanks so much for listening to this recording.